Now it's my turn to introduce to you someone most of you probably already know. But our relationship began as I was a client of Gautam's, and 3 weeks into the engagement, he fired me. He says, "You are just too troublesome to work with, and I don't think you know what you're talking about. So is it okay if we don't work together?" And I was, of course, in deep trouble when he did that because I had all this work I needed to get done. But something at the back of my head told me that Gautam is going to be a very useful person to know in life. So I swallowed my pride and said, "No problem, Gautam. Whatever, it doesn't matter." I'm so happy I did that because he's a wonderful friend. He's a great stalwart of the community, and he has an amazing collection of scotch. So, triple win for me just for not losing my temper at that instant. So, remember that. He's also a very accomplished speaker, and I'm sure this is going to be a fantastic keynote. What's the name of your keynote? Confessions of a Rubypreneur. Fantastic. Gautam has this thing where he makes a lot of money doing Ruby consulting, and then he proceeds to blow it all on some ill-conceived venture or the other. So to give you more detail on some of his adventures there, Confessions of a Rubypreneur by Gautam Rege.
How often have you all seen me just stand here and just talk about the conference and do things here and introduce other people? For a change, I say, let's do it the other side. I do remember people since yesterday evening. I've been at the reception trying to sort out room allocations, and you all have been seeing running around and shout, "Get back in, people, we are starting!" Remember that? But for a change, this is about me. So I'm going to change. You've seen me in this shirt? There is a reason why this shirt is tucked in. And there's a reason why Ajay is my friend. It's also one of my confessions, Ajay is my friend. I'm getting tempted. But today I'm about to talk to you all about a journey. A journey which started about 11 years ago, where we started Josh with all the Josh. And for all the people who need a little bit of brief introduction about me, Gautam Rege, and I started Josh 11 years ago after working for about 8 years in the industry. And then I started realizing a whole new world of experience. But I'm not sure. Why am I talking to you about this? How many of you all want to start your own company one day? How many of you all wish you had done it earlier? Don't answer, don't answer, don't answer. Oh, I see actually one enthusiastic guy I wish I had done it earlier. How many of you all want to be future leaders in your company? And you want to make things different by changing the culture in your company? You all know that book, right? The 3 Mistakes of My Life. That's what I'm talking about today. And I hope you'll learn from it so that you all probably don't make these 3 million mistakes that I did. Now, this is called trying to make your first mistake and see if this actually works. When you're starting up, what is the most important thing you need? Money. Yeah, you need a fancy domain name, which requires money. You require a good education, and you require fancy connects and contacts. Am I right? I'm totally freaking wrong here. Because a lot of people dream about starting up, but I have one thing to say to y'all. You haven't started up till you've actually started up. Which means, do not try to be part-time. Do not try to think, you know what, I will work a little bit now, I'll save some money, I'll try to learn new technologies, I'll make new friends, and then one day I'll start up. You'll start losing all your hair and realize, I wish I had started up sometime earlier. So taking the plunge is important. And when you're taking the plunge, there are only certain things that help you out. From the bottom of the pit of your stomach, you're not able to sleep. You feel uneasy. But this itch is not about falling in love. It's that itch which you need to scratch by saying, I have to do something. Scratch that startup kida. For all the people who are not familiar with the word kida, it means insect. Scratch that itch, put out all the passion that is there, and find yourself a really good partner. Sedu, where are you? Oh, there he is. That's my co-founder at Josh. Now, do you think it is necessary to find somebody with similar interests to start your own company? My take, it's super important. Starting up alone is freaking tough. It's not impossible. It's just really tough. I can see Nikhil nod. But I have simple analogies, right? I'm at crossroads one day and I was like, hey, which direction should I take? And all I need is somebody to talk to. It's not about asking somebody for directions. It's helping, knowing that there is somebody with you. If you're all alone in a room, you have only the wall to bang your head upon. But when you have a partner or a few partners, you have a shoulder. You have a shoulder that you can cry on. You have a shoulder you can cling on to, and it actually helps. Now here's quick mathematics for everyone. One person has 2 hands. In a startup, if you are 2 people, how many hands do you have? 5, at least. That's because you can do a lot more things. A lot more things can be done when people get together. Of course, in your startup, if you have 10 people as co-founders, what happens? A mess. Because there are too many decisions. There are too many things that happen which make you not go in the right direction because of people pulling you down sometimes. And above all, the most important thing is the support that you have from your family and your friends. If your family and your friends are important to you, but do not support you in starting up, I'm sorry, but you not got it made, dude. You'll be on your own. That does not mean that you have to take their permission. It means that if that startup kida in you is so big, you want to convince them to believe in you. Now, it took, I always had a goal that I passed out in 2000, and it was always my goal to start my company in 5 years. And I used to meet a lot of people, I used to meet my friends, I used to talk to them, and I used to tell them, I'm going to start up. I'm going to start up one day. I'm just waiting for the right time. How many of you all, without even nodding and showing any kind of expression, has had that thought in your mind, wo din aayega? Until one day, I happened to be at a chai tapri, a tea stall, sipping tea, and some guy came along and tells me, hey, what do you do? I said, yeah, I'm working in this company. And he says, yeah, I have this company of my own. And I said, yeah, I will start up one day. And he looks at me. And he looks at me. He says, dude, please don't say such things. Walk the talk. When you start up, then talk to people about starting up. It hurt. It hurt so bad that one fine day, I convinced Setu to quit his job. I quit our job. In 2007, we resigned. Now, when we resigned, we thought that there would be some sort of benefits we have. But when we resigned, we had no money, home loans, car loans, no insurance. We had dependents. That means we both married at that time. And our wives are not working. Now you all must be thinking, this guy had made a packet. Yes, we used to earn a huge salary working in some MNCs before this. Unfortunately, there is a reason why at the party you never see me drunk. Because I have a tremendous capacity to party. I took all that money and blew it up in partying. I lived my life. The problem is I wish I had saved a little bit. But well, we started up nevertheless. And the first decision, first day, we are sitting across the table and like, yeah, dude, so what do we do? We had no plan. We had absolutely no idea what we were going to do. Should we build a product? Should we build a service? Now, my analysis of this over the last 11 years has been that if you have a product, you definitely need it to be some sort of innovative or disruptive product. You need to study, research the market. You need to be a domain expert, or you need to have people around you who are domain experts. And unfortunately or fortunately, you do need something to sustain. And we've learned this the hard way. Building a product is not about the technology you use. It's about sales. On the other side, services company, it's a jump start. You can be profitable from day one. But it's all about Josh. And that is why we called our company Josh Software. Because we realized that the one thing that both of us have is the passion and the enthusiasm to guarantee that if there's somebody who comes and asks us to do something, we'll build it right. So we called our company Josh and said, yes, let's get some business, let's get some work. And then starts the myriad problems. Survival. For the first 6 months, I mean, we had, so luckily because we were in MNC, we had some stock options which vested, and I was able to live for about 1.5 months in that, and I think he was able to live for about 3 months. But we had to get into the sun and try to get work. For the first 6 months, we were trying to take on any kind of work we got. I've done localization for the Swedish language in MySQL on a WordPress PHP server because they didn't know what to do. Don't ask me to do it again because I won't. I have no idea what I did. It got working and they paid me some money. And after 6 months of living like this, we were like, what the hell are we doing? If we had to survive like this, there's no point. So we said, let's focus on something. 2007, 2008 was the time Rails was getting popular. My confession, I'm one of those people too who started loving Ruby from Rails. Today, I love Ruby, and I really don't care about Rails. And I'm making this statement publicly. Did I just do that? Okay. But we said, let's play to our strengths and not take on any kind of other work. He comes from a Java background, I come from a C background. And we are very good in what we did. But we said, let's focus only on Ruby work. Now, when you say, let's focus only on one thing, it's very easy to say we do it. But for survival, there are plenty of times we had a case where we got a close friend of ours who said, dude, I know both of y'all. I know how well y'all interview people. All I want you to do is interview people, hire them, place them in my company. Because if you interview them, I have the confidence that you will interview them right. And you give them to me. It's easy money. And we looked at each other and said, no, that's not what we want to do. If you wait for the right opportunity, it comes your way. Patience does pay. Take an example. If you want to survive, you get some work that you're really not interested in. You get busy with it. And then after some time, some really good work comes in. What are you going to do? You cannot dump the bad work for the good work because it's not good for you. Because you are actually putting somebody down, your customer, maybe your company, your people, your team. You can't just leave one and jump to the other just because something better came up. And you're setting the wrong attitude. So we actually had to say no to work which came our way. We had to fight the stereotype of people telling us, dude, you're a programmer. Stick to what you're good at. You need finance knowledge to run a company. I did not know the difference between a credit and a debit when we started. I can say it very proudly or shamefully, whichever you look at it, that the first invoice that we actually raised, and we added taxes to it, I negotiated with the customer that, we'll split the tax 50-50. I have no idea how the customer agreed. I don't know what he was thinking. So if we were in this boat, what was wrong with the customer? Well, another story I realized about was work ethics. Now we are Ruby programmers. There was a time when somebody started asking us to do some consulting work for them, and Setu had to travel across the city. And that person asked us to put a timesheet. How many of you all are familiar with this timesheet thing? Right? Yeah. And he said, yeah, send me your timesheet of how much, and I'll bill you by the hours that you've put in. And he said some 72 or 73 hours. And that guy said, hey, dude, chill. Just make it 124. It's pretty smooth, right? And he says, no, read between the lines. I'm not doing it because I have put in 72 hours. I will put 72 hours. And he leaves. In the meantime, that dude calls me and says, hey, I have spoken to Setu. He's going to send me a timesheet of 124 hours instead of 72. And I said, no. Read between the lines. And we both came back to office, and we both said the same thing at the same time. That, dude, that guy asked me to do this, and I didn't. And that's the day we realized that the communication between both of us was so strong that we knew we had the right work ethics to get things moving right. What happens with the advantage of work ethics is that you start building the trust. Today, I can say it publicly on stage that if something happens to me tomorrow, I know that he'll take care of my family as if financially, as if nothing has ever changed. And if you're able to build that kind of trust with somebody, that's the kind of person you actually want to start with. Now, 2 years into the business, we realized we could run a company. We realized we started hiring a few people. We had about 7 or 8 people by this time in about 2009. And disaster strikes. September 2010, Josh Software, company account, we had 237 rupees in our account. And we had to pay salaries for 8 people. We had a decision whether to take a bank loan or not. And so we approached a bank for an unsecured loans because we had no savings. We had no security. And they charged us an exorbitant amount. And we had to agree. We took the loan, we moved ahead, got ahead of this, and luckily since that day, we have never looked back. So financially, we started understanding how to make things move. But disaster number 2 strikes. Your customer doesn't pay. Your customer realizes that, hey man, Gautam, don't call me. I get a headache when you talk about invoices. And I like, hello, sir, we got to get paid. Yeah, your payment will come. And the payment never came. And we had to work out a situation where I can see heads nodding. We had to take a decision whether we need to work with this customer even if they're paying or not. And we took a call, you know what, let's drop the customer. When we actually dropped the customer actually paid us. Sometimes your team will let you down. For no fault of anyone's. We had a case about 6 years ago where the production database got dropped. Why? Because it was this Ganesh Chaturthi festival. It was a festival time and somebody wanted to go back home and said, you know what, I need to do cleanup on my AWS instances. So we cleaned up all the snapshots and backups because it looks nice. And then the screen changed and by mistake the database instance was deleted. We turned around, I got a call from this customer in UK that, Gautam, do you know what your company has just done? And like, nope. Turn my car around, go back to the office. We were there for 10 days straight, 24/7, 8 people in the office, trying to recover everything we could from however we got it, restored the entire system, got everything back on track, and we told the customer, like, We've done it. And then that customer slaps us with a show cause notice for reputation loss. And you have to look at the customer and say, you know what? I believe you. I realize that the reputation that you would have lost is a lot more for this. And we trust you that you've taken this in the best interest. Luckily for us, that customer is still with us. We were able to recover from all this. We did not pay any money. We were able to work around it because that person realized that reputation mattered. We came back from there to a level where that person actually has got us huge business and is still one of our customers. The point being that when you are actually running a larger show, where you have people responsible for you, we need to understand the essence of the word responsibility. Now, if you look at the definition of the word responsibility, it's quite a complicated definition there. This is how I split the word responsibility into two parts. It's the ability to respond. And if you are able to respond to situations, you'll probably take a decision. And it does not even have to be the right decision. You just take the decision and you're done. Now, decisions could be as complicated as choosing customers. When you are talking to somebody, what's on your mind? How do I make more money out of this? What should I sell more so that the customer will buy something more so that we will make more money? Or should it be, how do I solve this customer's problem and help him save his time, effort, or money? I hope the colors indicate correctly there. Meet your customers face to face. I am completely against any kind of online references for freelancing, trying to get work, because you don't know the person doesn't know you, there is no trust built in it. We make it a point to meet every customer face to face in any part of the world. We'll either fly our customer in or fly out there, but it's that important to ensure that, you know what, we're getting it made. And all this while, the customer is interested in a solution. Empathy, as Ajay very often says, is the ability for you to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and think like them. Now, if I'm thinking that I'm going to meet this person and I have Ruby developers with me, how do I sell him Ruby? And how do I tell him that this solution can be solved using Ruby? I'm going down the wrong path. I go there and ask the customer his problems. We understand, what are you doing? What is your issue? What is the problem? Then find the problem, and if we have the right solution and the right technology, we accept it. Story coming up. You all have heard of Tehelka, right? So Tehelka, the sting operations experts, who are no longer really there right now. At one time, they were trying to build a huge tech blog in this framework in Ruby called OHM. Anyone heard of it? OHM? It was a Redis-backed framework for content management, which was custom built, but the consultant in LA was trying to build the framework and using Tehelka as a test bed. So they were doing their own gig and trying it out with these people. And then for some reason they had a fallout and the references came all over the world. Finally, I flew to Delhi, where they are headquartered, and I spoke to them and said, you have a blog. Dude, why are you spending? They had spent millions of dollars trying to make blog post in Rails with Redis backed for when you like and click, so it's super fast. And I told them, guys, just install any sort of content management system and you are done. And they told me, like, okay, do it. And I said, which do you recommend? At that time, WordPress was really good. I still believe WordPress is the right choice for just about putting out content. And there are plenty of other tools there, but at that time, WordPress was nailing it. And I told them, put up a WordPress blog and you're done. And they said, you're right, do it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do it, but because it's PHP, and I don't know what PHP is. And that lady sits in a chair and looks at me and says, hang on. So you're telling me to do something else which you will not take. You will not do. So aren't you just shooting yourself in the foot? And I told her, yes, ma'am. That's why I limp so much. And they actually went to a WordPress blog. We've got references from that customer saying, if you want to get a product built, go to these guys because they know what they're talking about. Because they look after you. Not because they want to make more money. Now, while you start getting good products built, you can't do everything on your own. When you can't do everything on your own, the only thing left is to invest in a team. I did not say pay, I said invest. And when you're investing in a team, there is no point in trying to hire somebody who is the workhorse, who's going to just do the work they're being told to do and just do it. You want to hire somebody whom you want to learn from, who's better than you, who can stand up and say, you know what, just shut up and it should get done and I'll solve it. I got it right? It's better than a beep. I was going to say hell, by the way. Right? And by now you're all reading the slide, right? And you're all wondering why we're celebrating diabetes there. Right? All right, so here's another story. In, Setu, apologies first. In 2012, Setu gets diagnosed with diabetes. Now he has a long-running history of family diabetes. But the doctor said, dude, this should have happened like 12 years from now. You're getting this diabetes early on because of your irregular eating habits, irregular sleep, stress, and all these kind of things. We've been running a company for 5 years, and we realized that if we don't survive for another 5 years, what are we going to do all this for? So, if all of you all had that thought earlier that investing in a team and hiring somebody better than you would be super expensive and I don't think I should do it, you will be celebrating your life if you invest in better people today. Point in hand, at Josh, among the top management, I'm the youngest. All the other people, including Setu, who's older than me. We have Setu, we have Sachin, we have Samir. These people are all older than me by, Samir he's got like now 2 kids in engineering college who've passed out of engineering. He has 32 years of experience. And the interesting point is, at 1 year before this diabetes story, we met Samir and he had an annual salary which was more than the revenue we were earning in the year. 1 year later, we celebrated diabetes by hiring him. No, we did not earn so much money. We actually convinced him and he took a huge pay cut because he wanted to work. Once you reach a particular level, it's not about the money anymore. He took a huge pay cut, worked with us. Today, he's earning more than what he would probably earn. Now, if you've invested in a team at the right time, you also have to ensure that you're not the only person who's going to make it happen. You have to set in processes. This is what we learned, especially after our database debacle. We put all the processes in place. We put out metrics. We paid money for this on our own and told the customer about the quality assurance that we can provide. And we don't have a single manual QA in our office. Everything is an automated way. Everybody works towards ensuring that the quality that we deliver works. But let me get back to one slide and one point. On the last one, the last point, I haven't discussed it at all, right? Who here has let people go? I know, no hand comes up very enthusiastically. They all come up like, that's us now. That's us now. The first person I had to let go, Setu and I took 6 months. We took 6 months to let that person go. We couldn't just get ourselves to, we used to tell him. He once even cried. And like, dude, aisa mat karo, mera baap mere ko marega. My father will hit me. Please, I will do anything, but don't let me go. I'll do any kind of work. And finally, we let him go. 3 months later, I got a call back from him. I know you all are expecting like, well, like I'm probably getting a death threat or something like that. But 3 months later, he called me and said, Gautam, thank you so much. Programming was never my line. Now he's managing a few team of, in HCL, he's managing teams for doing system administration, and he's turned out to be a damn good people manager and low-level systems custom management work. And he's happy. So the problem with not letting people go early or being afraid to let people go is that you are not letting them tap their true potential. So for all the Josh employees here, if you can close your ears when I say this, that today, if you're afraid to let you go, you're probably in bigger trouble. But like Ajay raised his hand enthusiastically, yes, confession. It doesn't take much for me to tell somebody that you're not making the cut. Don't be afraid to let people go, and it'll probably take them along a long way too. Now, everyone's working hard. Everyone's working hard all the time. But don't forget to live. All through this, ensure that you all are partying hard, partying with different people, having a lot of fun, going on trips, going on picnics, trying out different modes of transportation, taking a break. When was the last time you all went for a movie? And who here has seen Uri, Surgical Strike? Right? Have you all seen it? Not seen it? No? Now, commanders, how's the Josh? There you go, it works. Cool. Welcome to my hotel. Right, my name is Gautam Rege. Park Rege as it is. This is a photo from the hotel. Thanks, Sid. He found this photo today and sent it to me. And I said, I must use it in my slides somehow, somewhere. And I realized it's perfect. Isn't that amazing brand promotion? Right? The problem is, very often we confuse marketing and sales. Now, sales is what we all do even today. As a developer, you're selling your services. You're ensuring that your team lead, your project manager, your boss, your customers are going to listen to you, and they think you are awesome. And they think you will be able to solve their problem. That is sales. How are you marketing yourselves? Here's how you market yourselves. For everyone here. This is where you market yourself. What I'm doing today is marketing my company. Second part, organizing conferences. There is so many things to do when you organize a conference. There are so many people you get to meet. So many people remember you. And why will they remember you if you didn't matter? Actually, it has a very interesting story. And that table there, with Ajay not listening, is actually going to enjoy this. Oh, you're playing cross and knots. Okay. This is a story for you guys, especially Ajay, you and Sidhu. People are talking about the 10-year challenge. No, it's fun. People are talking about the 10-year challenge, right? 10 years ago, I trolled at RubyConf India, the first one. And I trolled the organizers, I trolled the speakers, I trolled the venue, I trolled the sponsors. Can you do anything better than that? 10 years later, I'm getting trolled. Exactly. So what happened next year was, actually that year after the conference, they came up to me and said, dude, why? I'm like, because of this. Like, hang on. Do you think you can do a better job? Yeah, man, I can do a better job. All right, let's do it. And I said, okay, let's do it. Next year, we took the conference to Pune, and they said, you take it to whichever city you want. I said, I'm from Pune. I said, all right, let's do RubyConf India in Pune. But the next statement that they made is what has kept us being friends for so long. He says, dude, You're in Pune, we are in Bangalore. We will extend all the help that we can to ensure that you get all the assistance to make that conference successful. Thank you so much. And it never stopped. And year after year, we were not doing just RubyConf. Then we started GopherCon, DevOps Days, Rails Girls, and whatnot. We were doing, I think, 5 conferences. Of course, Satish is the person doing them. But this is how it started. Now, can everyone organize conferences all the time? Then there will be nobody left to attend. What do you do in the meantime? You write articles, you write blog posts, and help drive the community. By driving the community, by doing open source contributions, contributing to any kind of language, you're actually getting things done right. Another confession. After 2012, our company started going on a huge, neat, smooth revenue scale. It was so cool in about 2014 that Setu and I used to go to office 3 days a week. We had nothing to do. Everything was working on autopilot. The team was functional. We were getting work. We had paying customers. We had a good team to get it going because we chose customers wisely. We invested in the right team. We had the right process in place. But it was going so smoothly that we had that nagging feeling again in the pit of our stomach. Dude, what the hell are we doing? We are doing something wrong. It got us to a particular level, and we realized if we have to stop here, are we going to stop here? Or are we going to go take this further? Again, we took a decision collectively to diversify into other things. That's when we started saying, let's bet on Go. Satish was responsible for GopherCon, attending GopherCon in Denver in 2013. He came back and said, dude, I think this is going to be good. So we started working in Go. We planned out, we did not rush into it. We planned our strategy about how to go about it. GopherCon India was a great deal. But now, we run. And we start working towards this goal. We started 2 other companies. We started an insurance broking agency as the tech partners for that company. We invested in that company. Simply Smart is a smart metering IoT platform where we are again the technology partners. We are not the sales guys here. We are the technology partners, so we don't run the sales. How did I learn this? The hard way. If you want to fail, fail fast. Long back, we had started 2 companies trying to say that, if we build an awesome product, it'll sell. No, it doesn't. So if you are a developer who can build really awesome products, before you actually take the plunge, please ensure that you have a person who can drive the sales so passionately that you can make him your co-founder. If you are not able to find somebody who's going to drive the sales, do not start that company. Do not start that product. A product doesn't sell itself. People sell the product. Coming towards the other angle, we've got the processes in place. We've got customers in place. We've got people in place, but they're not enough. This next part is all about scaling up. I'm sure there are a lot of Singhams in the crowd who've been there, 2-3 people company. You're the one-man army or the 2-person army who's doing everything that can to survive. That was us in 2007. Then we got into a slightly bigger company, very, very elite. We knew exactly what we were doing. We knew which strategic post to hit, which surgical strike to attempt, which customers to target, how to build good products, how to have an exit from that product so that you don't get stuck in it long term. This is when we were really rolling it. Oh, you all are waiting for the next slide to see which movie I show? All right, sure, why not? And you can see a lot of bullet points too. So, when you're about 50 people, you rule the roost. If you get your processes in place, you get your people in place, dude, you get it right. And it works. Now starts the interesting part. Any guesses? What happens? Which movie comes after 50? Yep. Now this is interesting, right? This movie, 300, they actually all die in the end. But they die bravely. Right? So you choose how you want to go. Because if you are more than 100 people, you could die. But die brave. Oh, there's one more slide there, isn't there? There's one more slide. Any guesses? Well, if you start scaling a company over 300 people, you're just on a totally different freaking planet. There is no way you can identify with anybody here. It's a very transactional approach where only numbers count. Don't get there. My take. I don't know about Ajay. All right, and that's why I've put a question mark there, because I don't know where the future takes us. Here comes the interesting part. All through this, if you have to build the culture in your company, you actually have to walk the talk. There are plenty of times where I have stayed in the office for 24 hours, not because I am the person who will solve the problem, but I'm there just because my team's there. Here's food for thought. If you had a 7-people company in a 1-room office, would you come in the morning and clean the toilet? Would you? The people who can emphatically say yes, you've already scratched that itch. We've done it too many times. But the people who said, oh no, that's not my job, you got some soul searching to do. We've done it. We've got chai, coffee for everyone. Here's another thing about this. Recently in our office, we're now like about 75, 80 people. Like just short of the monkey phase. But we had this pantry, and people used to eat their lunch and go. And I realized that, hey, if we have to walk the talk, we need to set the example right. For months, people used to come to a table and say, hey, somebody's got to clean it. And we started it. So Sethu and I started, first we used to eat last so that there's food for everyone. Then we started getting in at different times, standing up, making a show. I'm sorry, I'm a showman. You've seen that, right, with the t-shirt. Making a show of cleaning the table after we eat, tell everyone and leave. 3 days. It took us 3 days. My team is so awesome right now that when you go to the pantry, people are like, hey man, this is awesome. There's another story. And food is always something very interesting for us, right? So we used to cater for food earlier because we had a lot of people who were not married in our office. They used to stay alone. We realized that if we start catering for food, it'll be easy. But then people complain about the food. Who likes their office food? It's either oily or it's not good. So one fine day, we took a decision. No more food in the office. That's it. People thought we were joking. Oh yeah, I can see you all smiling, right? People thought we were joking. And lo and behold, one day there's no food. People went hungry. The next day, people had to go out to eat. In 1 week, everyone came back and said, please start catering. And I said, no. Come back to me with a solution. And you know what? The team came back with a solution where they built a Rails application in our office where everyone can come in the morning. On a single click, an email is sent before 11:30. On a single click, you can order whatever food you want from the local terminals, not one of the food delivery apps, from the local shops. And we give a discount on that. So it's subsidized food. But you don't even have to manage your payments. It goes to our admin person who gets a list out. When the food gets delivered, everyone gets their food, whatever they want. There is no food wastage. At the end of the month, whatever money's deductions, we deduct it. The hunger terminal turned out to be such a good product. It got covered in the local newspaper for how companies handle food. Grooming people by walking the talk of trying to be an entrepreneur is the same way. I take great pride in some people in our office whom I've seen we hired off the basketball court. To see that person get married, to see him buy his first bike, to see him buy his first car, to see him celebrate his son. to see him be a director in one of the companies that we started. And that, I believe, is how we need to actually groom everyone in a company. How often, I was talking to Prathamesh earlier, right? How often do you publish your goals publicly? In GopherCon, Ajay had taken a slide about how Gojek talks about Snowflake. A quick background about that, where everyone's self-review, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone's self-review is publicly available for everyone. That's so freaking awesome. On similar lines, at Josh, we ask or encourage all our employees to publish their goals publicly. Which means that if you have a goal of saying, I want to lose 10 kgs in 1 year, there is no point saying it to yourself. Write it big, post it on your laptop, or send an email to everyone. Just that commitment helps you drive forward. And if I have to walk the talk, it's my goal that in the next 5 years, I want to give a TED talk. Needless to say, making Mondays often is always fun. Needless to say, conquering your fears through this journey always helps. The biggest fear has been fear of failure. What if I fail? Who cares? You care? Move on. Fear of society. If I fail, what will my mother-in-law say? What will my girlfriend say? What will my boyfriend say? What will that person say? I don't care. It doesn't matter. And my favorite one is the third one. Who can take off your t-shirt on stage? Fear of public speaking. Enjoy it. I can tell you all this, that if you all can conquer fear of public speaking, the others follow soon. Fear of an uncertain future is when you are running a business, it automatically disappears. Now, how do you know that you've been successful? The only way you measure somebody's success is by people and not the money. And by this, I mean improving the quality of life of your team, improving the ecosystem. In Pune, we have very strict rules here. We do not hire from sister companies who are helping us organize conferences. I don't have a single person from Big Binary in my office. In fact, we build relations. So we have Prathamesh from Big Binary getting married to Anuja from our company in a few days, I think. I told you, I will pull your leg. Remember that as a company, I don't matter. I don't matter as a company because it's the company which makes you. We even respect our tea, our office boy who serves tea. In fact, he's an example we take everyone because he's so happy serving tea to everyone that he knows whether you want black tea or black coffee, you want coffee in the morning, you want tea in the evening, and he's that proficient with it, and he does it day in and day out because he enjoys being the perfectionist. There was a case where somebody said, Umesh, chai. And I said, hey, you never do that. That guy is way more important to the office than you are if you are in this position. So respect everyone at every stage, and you can rest assured that you're probably going to make it big. Now I've been giving a lot of gyan, but what about personal success? As an entrepreneur, do you want to be personally successful and rich? Yes, no. So then retire by 40. Set this goal to retire by 40. But when I say retire, it does not mean hang up my feet and read the newspaper. It means I have financial freedom. My entire expenses, personal expenses are taken care of. When I want to travel, my company takes care of it. I do not need to go to office. I go to office because I want to. I want to meet people. I don't have to. I love to do the things I do. I love to play. I love to talk. I love to travel. And my company lets me do that. So did I turn 40? I just turned 40 a few months ago. So did I make it big? I don't know, but let me put it this way. I played squash in the morning, and I had scotch in the evening, right? It was the perfect start to the day and a perfect end to the day. And somebody asked me, wow, you had an awesome 40th birthday. And I'm like, no, I do that every other day, right? Thank you very much. I hope I was able to change at least one person in this room. It will give me the greatest happiness. Thank you so much.
What a fantastic talk. Can we have another round of applause for Gautam Rege, our keynote speaker, please? I know I saw a lot of you like agreeing vehemently with whatever Gautam was saying, but trust me, you will not understand this till you do it. So just go do it. And if one thing I think that Gautam was trying to say all along is that the most valuable investment you can make is to have your name known as someone who plays positive sum games. It's not a win-lose. They always play win-win games, and it will come back to you, whether it's with your clients, whether it's with your employees, whether it's with your friends, co-founders. And I know he believes every word of what he said, because I've lived through one of those client firings of his. It was me, right? And you've seen Moneyball? Like, the guy is like supposed to let someone go, and he's like, how do I do it? Like, and his boss tells him, they're all grown people. They'll understand when you tell them, just sit down and level with them. And I'm like, have they been talking to Gautam Rege before making this film? Because he just leveled with me. And there was something in his voice there which I knew that he was, like, he still meant well. For me, he wished me well. He was just doing what was best for everybody at that moment in time. And it was truly instructive. So just go for it. Do your entrepreneurship. And whether you end up as a successful entrepreneur or not, you will learn a heck of a lot from that. So thanks again, Gautam. It was a wonderful keynote.